Paddling the swift Ochlockonee River from the dam to the bay. Tornado warnings, fierce winds, and sheets of rain greeted more than 30 kayakers and canoeists at Ed and Bernice's fish camp along Highway 20 miles west of Tallahassee. The camp was the gathering point for Paddle Florida's second annual Dam to the Bay paddle on the Ochlockonee River in early March. 6 days, 76 miles. And by first impressions, it would be a trip of the damned. But we knew favorable weather was in the forecast. So we squeezed tents under pavilions and stayed dry the best we could. We even started a fire along the edge of one pavilion. Sleep was difficult that night as rain battered the tin roof shelters. The next morning was blustery, but skies were deep blue. Bald eagles, ospreys, and vultures soared, while long garfish near the water surface seemed especially frisky. Was this gar mating season? In the afternoon, a few of us stopped at the historic Langston Ferry site. The ferry ran from 1876 to 1929, in the days before the Highway 20 bridge. People who approached from the west side of the river often blew a conch shell to alert the Langston family on the other side to bring the ferry boat. Charges ranged from a nickel to 20 cents, depending on the load size. The Stoudermeyer family manages the site, and they've erected a covered bridge Methodist chapel across a side stream with memorial benches honoring family members who have passed. Appropriately, they have included a conch shell on a chain so guests can give the traditional horn blow for the ferry. Nearing our campsite at the Huey P. Arnold Park after 16 swift miles, some boat anglers told me they had rescued a man in a yellow kayak who had tipped over after hitting a snag. He made a total of 3 people who took unscheduled swims on this first day due to snags, swift current, and the narrow and twisting nature of the river in sections. The river often moved us along at 5 miles per hour with only light paddling. That night, I dreamed of torches floating down the waterway, and these flickering lights soon turned into paddlers. I began to think how rivers were much more than simply paths that nature has made for water to flow downhill. So many species have evolved in and along these waterways that they are corridors of life and therefore fascinating places to paddle. The Ochlockonee is especially attractive, flowing through lands now protected by various state, local, and federal agencies and sensitive private landowners, keeping the river's natural systems largely intact. And it is almost completely overlooked by most people in Tallahassee. This reverie was interrupted by shivering as night temperatures dipped into the 30s. Why hadn't I brought my long johns or fleece sweatpants? Monday, our second day, warmed to short-sleeve shirt weather in the 70s. The swing in temperatures was astounding. Ronnie Traylor, our trip leader, showed us a small riverside cabin since he knew the owners. Humorous and philosophical signs covered the age siding. How many backwoods cabin owners post quotes of Albert Einstein? A side slough filled with gnarled old-growth cypress added to our day's explorations. These trees were spared the logging boom of the 1920s due to their twisted nature and low wood value. They seemed to emanate age, respect, and quiet. Unlike most of the river trees, the green cypress needles weren't popping out yet. Owl cries echoed across our camp at the remote Whitehead Lake campground. The river had encrusted from the heavy rains, and there were worries that our boats near the landing would be washed downriver, so we tied them to trees. We also heard that flooding was possible at Ed and Bernice's fish camp, and that our parked vehicles could be threatened. Paddle Florida coordinator Bill Richards vowed to keep abreast of the danger and rush to the camp to move our vehicles if necessary. We tried to push the threats out of our mind around the fire as we told stories and jokes and sang a round of Grandma's Feather Bed by John Denver. We also humorously observed the various ways people roasted marshmallows. In summary, we easily entertained ourselves. The landing at Whitehead Lake is separated from the campground by a side stream that must be waded. Overnight, the stream rose from being ankle deep to past our knees, and the water was cold. We had an interesting chat at the landing with Ben O'Neill and Jimmy Sanders of East Point. The duo are deadhead loggers, meaning they pull out submerged cypress and longleaf pine logs in the river after receiving a rather expensive permit from the state. While the practice often disrupts fish habitat, Ben maintained they are cleaning up what our ancestors left. About 10% of the log rafts from the logging boom days sank in the river and sloughs, and every flood uncovers more logs. The wood from these old-growth trees can be valuable once sawed into boards for siding and mantles. As the day warmed, we zoomed down the swift-flowing river, witnessing the ever-emerging colors of spring. Besides popping leaves, there was blooming wild azalea and tai-tai. Hawks cried, eagles soared, another perfect day. We arrived at the Mac Landing campground just after 1 o'clock, so many of us had time to explore the tortuous and swift-flowing Mac Slough, another wonderland of cypress and tupelo trees. After dark, Mac Slough was the backdrop for the entertaining and edgy tunes of local musician Grant Peoples. Paddle, Florida is known for providing educational lectures and musical entertainment at their evening camps. On this trip, we also learned about water management, wetlands mitigation, beekeeping, and other area paddling trails. Sop chopping musician Frank Lindemood provided entertainment at another campground. Wednesday morning began smoothly as the fast current carried us to our lunch stop at Pine Log Campsite in Tatesdale State Forest, and some people explored the old-growth cypress along Hitchcock Lake, another side slough. After lunch, things went topsy-turvy. Several people were confident they could find the Womack Creek campground, our destination, so they left before our trip later on the ever-widening river. Perhaps in the spirit of Sebe Tate, for whom Tatesdale is named, they became lost. The high water had opened up several side sloughs that resembled the main channel. Plus, a southerly wind and an incoming tide slowed the current to a near standstill. This resulted in several confusing channel choices, and some people chose poorly. Ronnie and I chased down one party, but two others didn't find their way to camp until later that afternoon. In the future, we vowed to be more careful in this section. After a short day's paddle to Ochlockonee River State Park on Thursday, we had an oyster feast. There's nothing better than a fresh bushel of oysters steamed over a fire. Some paddlers, such as Peggy McTeague, showed off their oyster shucking expertise to the delight of many waiting with crackers and hot sauce. A perfect setting for a perfect party. In the afternoon, time was spent either snoozing or walking along high riverbanks beneath arching live oaks, or through some of the best-maintained longleaf pine flatwoods in the state. Red-cockaded woodpeckers and endangered species are in relative abundance, along with an array of songbirds, deer, and white squirrels. Approaching the white sand beaches of Bald Point State Park along the Gulf of Mexico the next morning, we navigated a maze of oyster bars with their associated crying gulls and terns. Ospreys soared and fish popped. Salt air filled the southern breeze. An ideal place to end a 6-day paddling journey from the dam to the bay.
In the middle of the winter, when you need a vacation, come where the sun and the sand are waiting. Right down here at the bottom of the nation. I'm talking about Florida. Yeah, come on down to the Sunshine State. Bring your money, check out the place. Well, chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody else does. Yeah, there's 1,000 new residents coming down every day. They're all moving in and buying up the place. They're filling in the swamps to make some more space. And man, we're starting to need it. We got these snake farms and alligator wrestlers, more state executions than anywhere but Texas, plus shuffleboard and wet t-shirt concessions. Man, you gotta see it to believe it. Yeah, come on down to the Sunshine State and bring your money, check out the place. Well, chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody else does. Well, we're #1 in lightning strikes, snake bites, alligator and shark attacks, 1 million illegal aliens to sack the trash, clean toilets, wash dishes, and cut the grass. I'm telling you, it's heaven. We feature one golf course for every man, woman, and child. When we cut down the trees, man, you can see for miles. Don't it seem like a place you could kick back a while? Dude, it don't get no better. Yeah, come on down to the Sunshine State. Bring your money, check out the place. Well, chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody else does. Well, there's federally subsidized sugar plantations that are bigger and richer than most European nations. They own the politicians and hire all the Haitians. It's what you call a sweet deal. Everybody thought it was some kind of joke when we said it ain't over till your brother counts the votes. But 8 years later, man, they're still blowing smoke. It's what you call a state steal. Come on down to the Sunshine State. Bring your money, check out the place. Chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody else does. Our school system rates higher than Mississippi and Louisiana, and though we're not up there with Arkansas and Alabama, 10% of our children spend time in the slammer, and that's gotta count for something. You see, we ain't got no state income tax, 'cause we just screw the tourists to make up for that. It's a service-based economy that keeps us fat, that and a lot of fried mullet. Come on down to the Sunshine State. Bring your money, check out the place. Chances are you'll decide to stay. Hell, everybody else does. Come on down to the Sunshine